What's up YouTube? Welcome back to my Sonic 3 A.I.R with Playable Shadow mod Let's Play. This time we are playing Zone 6, Launch Base Zone. Let's hit that grind. As you can see, Shadow has a friend this time. It's Miles Tails Prowler. Tails has finally stopped hanging out with Sonic, because Shadow is just so much cooler than Sonic. It's just happens Sonic, no need to be mad about it. Sometimes I think Shadow should be the real main character of this series. And by sometimes, I mean all the time. Special ring right away in this zone below you. Welcome to Launch Base Zone, Robotnik's staging area where he will attempt to relaunch his Death Egg into space. This is the same Death Egg Sonic brought down at the end of Sonic 2. I think that's so cool how the classic games have some continuity between each other. This is the final zone in Sonic 3 standalone, so as is fitting for a final zone, it's a tad bit more challenging and lengthy than other stages. Gotta stay on your toes for this one. So what is the Death Egg exactly? The Death Egg is Robotnik's orbital space fortress housing some of his most dangerous weaponry. For example, in Sonic 2 we saw the Silver Sonic robot and his Big Egg mech. That was one challenging boss battle. According to the Sonic the Hedgehog wiki, this thing can also shoot a laser quote, capable of destroying large star clusters. I'm assuming if Shadow fails to stop this thing getting into orbit, Robotnik will just shoot a bunch of lasers into Mobius, blowing one hole in the planet at a time until eventually one of those lasers hits Sonic and he can take over the world. Like we said in Carnival Night Zone, Robotnik does not care one bit about the natural formations of the land and is more likely to just build a big factory wherever the crater ends up. Robotnik sure is a great bad guy. He's got a lot of bark and bite to back it up. He can cover comic relief roles and be ruthlessly evil 1 second later. The Death Egg is powered by the Chaos Emeralds or the Master Emerald, as they both hold infinite sources of energy. The Sonic Wiki says the size of the Death Egg is unknown, but as it is obvious to many, the Death Egg is reference to the Death Star from Star Wars, so we can look to the Death Star for more information. The Death Star is the quote, moon-sized space station, unquote. Have you ever heard the famous line, "That's no moon. That's a space station"? The line refers to the Death Star. Since it is a moon-sized space station, let's compare it to our own moon here on Earth. Earth's moon has a diameter of 2,159 miles or 3,475 kilometers. That's big enough to have its own gravitational pull. While our moon is only 1/4 of Earth, a weapon that big must be pretty deadly. Now, as promised last episode, I would like to address the common complaints people have with Sonic games, particularly 2D Sonic games. I am seeking to debunk these claims, and maybe you, if harbored these thoughts yourself, you would be more willing to giving Sonic another chance after hearing me. The complaints sound like this one. Dude, Sonic games suck. You're supposed to go fast but I can't react to all the obstacles in my way because the screen is too small. And 2. Sonic games suck. They are just hold right to win, you just big up your rings and keep holding right. Alright, let's start with the first one. Dude, Sonic games suck. You're supposed to go fast but I can't react to all the obstacles in my way. The screen is way too small. Ahem. Just because the marketing says stuff like, Sonic the fastest thing alive, and, gotta go fast, does not actually mean you are going to be playing at peak efficiency the second you push in the disc. Any game worth your time requires at least a little bit of practice to get good at. Classic Sonic games are short games. Each entry in the classic trilogy is gonna take you like 2 or 3 hours to complete. You are supposed to be playing and enjoying these games multiple times, and as you get better and play more and more, you learn the map and placement of enemies and power-ups. It's the same idea when you play Dark Souls and fight a super hard boss over and over and over again, and it's supposed to feel rewarding when you finally beat him. Same thing with Sonic. Going fast and making the entire level eat dust is supposed to feel rewarding after putting in sufficient effort. It's called replayability. LOL, I actually had to go AFK for a second here, so I'll just show some memes. Now let's move on the second common Sonic complaint. Dude, Sonic games suck. They are. Just hold right to win. When you get hit, just pick up your rings. And keep holding right. This point has absolutely no foundation to stand on. First of all, do you play any of your other games just holding right all the time non-stop? No. Imagine trying to play Mario 3 like that on your first playthrough. You would bump into every enemy, people you don't know the level, and you don't know where the power-ups are. That's not how you play video games. Second of all, Sonic's character is about being cool. You can't be cool slamming your head into the wall like a dodo bird. Have you ever played a Devil May Cry game? In those games you get ranks during fights, which encourages you to be flashy and cool in fights. You're supposed to get sweet combos and not get hit. Because getting hit in the middle of your epic combo chain is anticlimactic and makes you look like a noob to any spectators. The same rule applies to Sonic. You need to put in the effort to rush through the stage all cool like without getting hit. You have to work hard to play hard, in other words. Don't believe me? Well, in Sonic Mania, the cool ranking was introduced. The less you get hit, the higher your cool bonus will be. If you score a 0, maybe you're not as cool as Canon Sonic would be, and you should reconsider a second play though after you finish your current one. I warn you, do not stop everything you're doing and replay the same level over and over until you get it perfect. You will get bored. Just finish your current playthrough first. And remember, just because you aren't good at the game your first time does not mean you should feel bad about yourself. Sometimes your biggest hater is yourself. The more you play, the better you get. Time for Act 2. We are gonna totally own Eggman. With the Chaos Emeralds on our side, Eggman has no chance of beating us. Also, we have Shadow, who is edgy and cool. We got this in the bag. Oh look. My least favorite bonus stage. Smell ya later. Funny how I completely forgot Shadow has that wall climb ability, but it's actually been pretty useful to me so far. I wanted that freaking water shield Tails. The best part about having Tails around for your adventure is you can blame him for everything that goes wrong and feel better about yourself. Fun fact, when Tails was first included as a follower in Sonic 2, they marketed his inclusion being possible due to blast processing. This blast processing would render the game so fast you can have not one, but two speedy characters on screen at one time. Blast processing didn't actually meaning though LMAO. It was just a marketing gimmick. What you just saw there is the ugly truth that sometimes Sonic 3 A.I.R does not perfectly replicate the physics from the original. No, it's not perfect, but it's darn good. A whole lot of those types of bugs have gotten squashed. Fun fact, do you know why glitches in games are called bugs? When computers were first being created in the 60s, this one time a literal moth flew through a window and got stuck in a machine, causing it to malfunction. Computers back then were huge and were the size of entire rooms. The lady computer scientist took the moth out of the computer and the term bug was born. I'm going super here because I don't wanna lose all my rings, lol. I won't stay super the whole time though, I'll give the boss a fair fight. That's a tricky jump right there. You have to jump off the roof into the cart thing that brings you out the water. Platforming in general can be harder in super form because your physics are a lot different than from what you're used into your base form. I was about to drown, thanks to Tails taking the cart for himself so it didn't respawn for me. So I just did a spin dash jump off that ramp for extra air to reach the surface. Here is boss number 1 of 3. Yeah, that's right. This is the half point of the game after all. For this first one, jump at the right time to avoid the cannonball and use the platform to get a hit on Robotnik. I've played this so many times I've got the timing down pretty good. Oh look. Eggman's Egg Mobile. Let's take it for a cruise. LOL, I guess that homing attack graphic is just gonna stay there. This is actually a custom cutscene included in the mod. Check it out. LMAO in the base game, as you approach Knuckles he punches your ride, but the launching of the death egg knocks him off the scaffold. Here Shadow just floors the gas pedal and runs his stupid self over. I don't know if I said this earlier, but we will be getting revenge on Knuckles for all the trolling he's been doing, but that wasn't it. We gotta wait longer. Also, it's pretty good timing we just made it to the launching of the death egg, huh? If we were 1 second later, Eggman would be off in space and we wouldn't be able to do anything to stop him. In the OG Sonic 3, Tails doesn't respawn, and he doesn't appear in Sonic and Knuckles either. Maybe he died. So, boss 2 out of 3. Robotnik shoots lasers out of this machine. Easy peasy, just hit him in the head, but watch out for his singular Sonic death ball protecting him. We are gonna kill him in super mode just to flex. Okay, time for big arms. Boss 3 of 3 for this zone. He has a pretty sweet unique boss tune. You need to hit Eggman in his face while avoiding his arms and spiky helmet. Jumping to your full height may not be a good idea for this boss. He tries to grab you twice, then will try kill you with his spiky head. Let's freaking go. Thanks for watching. Join me next time for the Sonic and Knuckles portion of the game, where the levels get harder, and the stakes get higher. Are you a bad enough dude to handle it?
We did it, Tails. We are heroes. Shadow heroes. Maybe I can put in a word for you and we can get you in Team Dark.